Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's Thursday, the 25th of January, 2024. Welcome to the meeting. I'm Aidan Squire. I'm your meeting chairman. It's my job to get you through the agenda. I am, as always, assisted by the leadership team. Please be upstanding and introduce yourselves.
I'm Vincent. I chair the membership committee and I'm also the official timekeeper.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Terry and I deal with membership and recruitment matters.
Good morning. Friendly, happy Scott, your meeting secretary, not Rugby Scott. Happy Scott, looking after statistics and, of course, live chat.
Morning guys, Ben, education and development.
Morning everybody, Brian, Social Secretary.
Thank you all. Please be seated. Let's get on with the meeting. First up is the performance lead. Scott.
Good morning, Grumpy Scott, performance league. Didn't last long. Right, performance league, we're 3 weeks in to the month. Our year ends in next week. So all the statistics of all the things I've been asking you for the last month or so, make sure you've got all of your referrals in, make sure all your activities are recorded. That's all great. Does mean that this month is a bit of a hodgepodge of scores, with some things being recorded 6 months worth in one big go. And yeah, basically what I'm saying is it's great on there, not necessarily a true reflection of what's actually happened this month. So pass that around. When I get to my meeting secretary's report, it's going to be a little bit more of a lesson on etiquette, rules and guidance on how to do this problem.
Thank you, Scott. Education presentation.
Very much. Good morning, everybody. And what I thought I talked about today is one of the things that people sometimes get a little bit nervous about when they're doing their education talk, which is their 60-second presentation. So obviously this is your chance to shine and tell people who you are, what you do, what you're looking for, but more importantly it's your chance to ask for that dream referral, because it's always the same, if you don't ask, you won't get. So a couple of tips that might help you while you're doing your 60 seconds. So the good thing is, number one, is to make eye contact when you're looking around the room. Tammy's very good at this as well. But don't stare at people, because they don't think you're a little bit weird. Yeah, don't stare at people, but make eye contact with different people in the room. Secondly, to use vocal variety. So don't just stay on one monotonous tone all the way through, because you want people to be excited about what you're saying, not putting you to sleep. Thirdly, speed. What is the speed of your 60 seconds? So you don't have to cram in 4 or 5 minutes worth of information into 60 seconds, Vince, and not Vince, sorry, Toby, trying to cram things into your 60 seconds. So you don't have to say everything, you're just saying things enough so people want to know more. And also you can slow down then so people can understand what you're looking for, so that it gives them a chance to think, yes, I want to book a one-to-one with them. And number 4 is be prepared. So don't leave it to the last minute. Don't start thinking about or writing your 60 seconds while other people are doing their 60 seconds. So make a note, sort of be prepared and time it as well. So obviously we have our chief timekeeper, Vince, who lets you know when your time is up, but if you time it beforehand, you're not going to have to even get to those bells. 5th is to make it different each time. Maybe you're going to have a different customer that you've helped, maybe a different situation, maybe you've got a new product or service come out. Put something different in each time. And finally, why not record yourself before you do it to make sure that you get one into that time. And if you say something that you think that doesn't work, then don't do it. So record yourself and use the time allowed, but make sure that your 60 seconds are varied so people want to know more. So I hope that helps.
Thank you, Ben. That's very long list. Yeah, that was good. We ought to bear that in mind. It's one of our great opportunities to get our information over to the rest of the members. Right, Terry, talking about members, have we got any new membership matters you wish to draw to our attention?
Not right at this moment.
Thank you. Right, that leaves us then, or leads us into the 62nd round. Bear in mind what he said, and your chance to showcase your business. Before I do, let me pass around the business card box to make sure you're adequately represented in there. Make sure that you take cards to help you refer introductions. As stated already, Vince is our timekeeper. He will make a noise after 50 seconds and another noise after 60 seconds. If you get to the stage of the 60 seconds, sign off. Right. The Oscar was won by Toby. He will be listening out hard. He will go first in the pecking order as well. So let's get things underway without more ado. Toby, if you go first, and you're followed by Shannon.
Good morning, everybody. Toby Acton, motivational strategist. I say that I'm going to be talking about motivational maps. Just a reminder for those that haven't seen my note on the group that in January, as a celebration of 2024, I am doing a 24%, approximately, before you work it out, discount on individual maps, normally £325, reduced to £250. For that, you get your map, you get a 15-page report, you get an hour's debrief session, you get strategies and a motivational action plan. So if you know anybody who maybe needs to give themselves a bit of a boost for the new year, wants to understand where they are and where they're going in 2024, please put them in touch with me. That's only available until the end of January. So that's Toby Acton, Proposition Business Solutions, and Vince is telling me I've got more time. Okay.
Thank you, Toby. Shannon, you're next, and you're followed by Mike Skinner.
Good morning, everyone. Shannon from Downton Mortgages and Financial Services. Good to be here again. So there's been some activity recently regarding interest rates for mortgages. Most lenders in the past couple of weeks have decreased their rates, but we are starting to see some of them increase the rates and remove some of the products from the market. So we're not certain where it's going to go from here, but it's going to be another wave to ride. So it's all kind of kicking off at the moment. But recently, Clara got some feedback from a client that I wanted to share. It says, I'm very lucky to have you as my broker. There's been lots of chatter last night on social media about banks pulling rates and rates trending upwards again. So feeling very lucky to have managed to lock in a rate of 4.17. And that's me, Shannon Savage, Downton Mortgages.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shannon. Here's Mike Skinner, and here's followed by Julius.
Good morning, Mike from Blackwater Media. Lovely to be back again, and once again able to provide you and your associates with commercial, videography, photography, drone work and event coverage. So I'm right back into the swing of things again now. I've got quite a few projects already from various EBF members that I'm going to start cracking on with, so thank you very much for those as ever. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into them. I'm really looking to get this year nice and busy now and get well booked up in advance, so I'm after all the different variations of my work, from big projects to quick jobs I can fit in around other things. If you hear anyone talking about needing to update or improve any of their marketing, website or online content, whether they're Tesco's UK or Tom's Flower Shop in the High Street, I can work with their budget and give them fantastic media, which brings them fantastic clients and then gives them fantastic numbers to take to their accountant. So, as ever, if you're dealing with business and that's their images and media pretty lacklustre, can you let them know I'm here and can really make a huge difference? There's no point having great products or great business if everyone looks at the metaphorically crumbling building on the outside and doesn't even want to put their head through the door to see what's inside. So that's Mike at Blackwater Media, making your business look for business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. James, you're next, and you're followed by Ben.
Morning all. James from BHK, RNK, ODS, Brown, GRP. On that basis, I can do pretty much anything, insurance-wise anyway, fast life. Property owners is the focus we've got at the moment. We've got a few new markets that we are using off the back of these extra trading names. So residential, including HMOs, residential commercial split, large commercials, large portfolios that are mixed between the lot. We can do the lot. So anybody that owns a number of properties, they're the people I want to speak to. One little tip, if you do own properties, the index linking, which is the amount that goes up every year based on the costs of replacing and repairing, has dropped and dropped and dropped. It's only 6.5% now. It was about 19% at one stage. So if you're on an index linked policy, that's fine, it will automatically increase. If you're on a policy that's got day one uplift written against the number, they don't increase it. So it's up to you to tell them that it needs to be increased to 19%, 16.5%, or 6.5%, whatever it might be. So check your sums insured, or get them to do it. James, on insurance.
Thank you very much, James. Ben, you're next, and you're followed by Brian.
Good morning, everybody. Ben Gilding from Utility Warehouse, and I help people to save money on their essential household utilities. Well, we've done it again. Last week, we've won the Which Award for Best Utility Provider. And with our fixed energy rate of £150 below the cap, and our January offer of fibre to the property for £19.99, I'm not surprised why. Now, earlier this week, I helped an elderly couple that had been a little bit scared about putting the heating up because they couldn't afford it. But after a quick chat with me, I saved them over £90 a month on all their services. That's over £1,000 a year, which is going to make a massive, massive difference. So, this week I'm looking for people you know that want to save money with the UK's cheapest, the UK's most trusted, and the UK's most recommended utility company. That's Ben Gilding, Utility Warehouse.
Thank you, Ben. Brian, you're next, and you're followed by Vincent.
Brian Pinton, therapist, Pilgrim Hypnotherapy. Last week I talked about the smoker, 40 cigarettes a day, £11,000 a year. He had his first session, he came back earlier in the week for his second session, and he said, I don't really need this because when I left you last week, I stopped completely. I've not had a cigarette since. So it's from 40 to 0 with one 55-minute hypnotherapy session to stop smoking. This week, a rather sad case, a man came to see me, and he said, a few years ago, he and his wife decided to have an online business, children's clothing. But then shortly after that, she got breast cancer, and 18 months ago, she died, 42 years old. It took him a long time to get over it, but he then decided to try to do this on it by himself. And having tried and got the company started, 3 weeks later, he's been diagnosed with cancer himself, and he's 45. So he's come to me to be able to accept the situation, as cruel as it is, and to get some peace of mind. I'm still looking for smokers, so that's Brian Pinton, therapist, Pilgrim Hypnotherapy. Help is just quite a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Vincent, you're next, and you're followed by Matt.
Morning everyone, Vincent from Steve Brentwood. I've had some stupid questions in my shop over the years. I sometimes wonder what part of huge sign that says speaker and they're not quite getting. Here's some samples for you. Is there a builder's merchant around here? Yes, Arnold's up the road. Do they sell scrapers? Do you sell hinges? How much are your sofas? Do you re-ink cartridges? No, there's a cartridge roll just over the road there. So you don't do cartridges? No. Do you know how much they charge? That's that. Where can I buy some string? I don't know, have you tried a string shop? Too sarcastic. Can you write me an invoice for these business cards that I had printed elsewhere? That winds me right up. And hopefully you finished your breakfast. Can I use your toilet? My hemorrhoids have just ruptured. So I'd like to add in my defence, when I'm asked any questions about... When I'm asked about printing, I give my time and I do answer every question. You think it really good?
I must ask, did you allow him to use the toilet?
Yes, I did, because I'm a human. He was desperate.
You're serious. Right, thank you. Matt, you're followed by...
Feeling a little bit queasy. Good morning everyone, Matt Barry from Blue Sheriff. I'm on the other side. We like, as part of our process, to see things from a different angle. We like to sort of mix it up a little bit. It's a little bit creative, it's a little bit risque. That's what we're all about. And actually, tying that in, myself and Leash, one of my colleagues, are going to be on the radio on Sunday on an art show talking about what is good and bad design. Can be very subjective. There are some obvious cases like the world famous collapse of the Gap branding, which I think I've told you previously. But we're going to be discussing on Phoenix FM in their arts programme about good and bad design. So it's very subjective. You've got to see it from different angles, different perspectives. So if you're bored on Sunday afternoon around about 5 o'clock, then tune in. Thanks very much. Matt Barrett from BSF.
Thanks, Matt. Stuart, you're followed by Paul.
Good morning everybody, Stuart from Emergency Networks. We supply internet services, telephony services, mobile phones, mobile services. Why would someone come to a smaller independent, such as LG Networks, versus just going straight to the big guys, right? Go to BT, they do everything that we need. Yeah, of course they do. The reason people choose to come to us is because of the level of service we can provide. The other thing is we have many options. You know, if you want to buy an internet service, and you go to BT, they can only sell you a BT product. If you come to us, we've got a whole panel of providers that we can look at. We can use Virgin, BT, Openreach, TalkTalk, Sky, City Fibre, G Networks. There's a whole host of them. The whole point is you come to us with your requirements, and we can look across a selection of different providers and come up with the best solution for you and back it with the best possible service. So if you know someone who's frustrated with dealing with BT, please get in touch with me, Stuart at LG Networks. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Paul Corrigan is next, and he's followed by Rachel.
My name is Paul, and I own Solitaire Plumbing Heating. We complete all plumbing and all heating needs, from a dripping tap to a full heating installation. We offer a 24-hour emergency call-out. We offer all boiler repairs, servicing and installations. Nothing gives us a better buzz when the customer says they've had several other companies try and repair their boiler. Love the feeling of being able to offer what others can't. We always try to repair rather than replace. We work on all types of heating systems, including natural gas, LPG, bottled gas, oil, unvented hot water, with domestic, commercial, and we can work on boats, caravans and park homes. We can complete bathrooms from start to finish. We have carpenters, multi-trade engineers and obviously plumbers that can complete a bathroom as stress-free as possible for our customers. We are F-gas registered, so we can install and maintain air conditioning systems and heat pumps. With our quality engineers and office staff, we are big enough to trust and small enough to care.
Thank you, Paul. Nick Cook, followed by Leanne.
Good morning, my name's Nick, as you know, I'm a structural engineer. I had a call from a lady on Monday. She said that her mum is going for an equity release on her house, her little house in Overley. The surveyor acting for the lender has actually spotted a problem. The chimney breast in the back bedroom was taken out, and the brickwork, remaining brickwork above the ceiling, is still there. It's not supported properly. And he said, you need a structural engineer to look at this because we can't lend any money on it at all until it's been sorted out. The structural engineer needs to either say it's fine or it needs a steel beam. She said, I think it needs a steel beam. I think you're probably right. I said, well, she said to me, well, it's been like that ever since she bought the house 12 years ago. Now, you might be forgiven if you said, well, why wasn't that picked up when before she bought the house? And she said, it was a cash purchase. So it just goes to show whether a mortgage or no mortgage, get a structural engineer to check out the house. So for 600 or 700 quid compared to hundreds of thousands of pounds that you're spending on a house, it's money well spent. That's what I do. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Leanne, you're next, and you're followed by Dave.
Good morning, everybody. Leanne, I had a question this week. How do you decide whether to use blinds or curtains or whatever dressings at a window? Now, you do have to take a lot into consideration. Is there space? What sort of look you're after? And after I'd gone through all the options, she looked at me blankly and we went on with the design, and by the end of it, we decided we're going to have curtains. And that's what I do. I help people make a decision and make their homes beautiful. So from colour palettes to soothe the soul, to furniture arrangements to optimise space. That's what I do with the Anna Brooklyn Interiors.
Thank you, Leanne. Dave, you're next. Terry.
Morning everybody, I'm Dave from Electrical. We carry out all forms of electrical work, domestic, commercial and industrial. This week I'm really after people who can give me testing and inspection jobs. So this could be landlords, can be domestic landlords, commercial landlords, factory owners, facilities managers, anybody who's looking after a building basically. They get a report like this, which shows all the testing we carry out. We've got we carry out the full test of the circuit board, and we test all the cables in the circuit board, and we'll get a report like this. We'll highlight any defects, hopefully repair them for you, and then give you a certificate which will cover for 5 years. So anybody looking after a building electrically, or any building maintenance, we can help them out with a report. So it's Dave from Electrical. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. Terry, you're next, and you're followed by Scott.
Morning, thanks, Dave. Good morning, everybody. Terry Malin from CM Law. This was meant to be for last week. Unfortunately, I wasn't here last week. But remember, it was very cold. And the headline in my newsletter was, "Will I be liable if I clear ice and snow and someone is injured?" The old Good Samaritan thing. Well, the answer is it's simply absurd. Unless you do something really stupid, there's a distinct difference between a simple accident and doing something stupid, like clearing a neighbour's driveway using boiling water. Because it's freezing, it freezes, becomes an ice rink. So anyone clearing ice or snow would have to be really negligent in order to be liable. And if you got into that situation where you cleared it just doing it normally, and a claim is made against you, our good friend James reminded me earlier, go to your house insurers, and your house insurers would generally look at that reasonably favourably, you'd hope. So I know it's warm now, but if it gets cold again, remember, be a good Samaritan. Terry Malin, CM Law.
Terry, Scott, you're next, and you're followed by Blake. No, sorry, you're followed by John.
Good morning. Following our ed slide, asking for what we want. My request is we've been all kinds of websites, small, medium, large, for all kinds of businesses. Can I have something nice to look at, please? Spend a lot of time looking at toilets and that related part of the world, and cockroaches and rats and mice and various different things. Done a lot of church websites through rats. All wonderful. But can I have some, holiday villa in the Caribbean, or something pretty and attractive and different to look at? That would be a request. Something beautiful, pretty and different. Nice. Thank you.
All right, Scott, we'll see what we can do. John, you're next, and you're followed by Blake.
Good morning, everybody. I'm John Hammond from JMH Technology. What I'd like you to do today is think of all your customers out there that could use telly. Now, what I mean by it? Well, if they have a personal injury from a client or whatever, they'll need telly if they haven't had their automatic doors serviced or their gates serviced. Because they're meant to be serviced once a year. And if they don't comply and someone's injured, you're going to need a telly. But you can save on tech costs by employing me just to do a maintenance check and make sure everything's up to scratch. It'll be so much cheaper. So employ me, John Hammond from JMH Technology, to test all your gates and that.
Thank you, John. Blake, you're next, and you're followed by me.
Good morning, everyone. Blake from Amahag, your go-to airsoft out your gear. I want to comment on what Ben said about making eye contact. Unfortunately, I can't. So I'm warning myself out that one. So you'll just see me looking around the room generally. Well, one of the things I never see eye to eye with people. So today we're going in, obviously, hopefully going into a warmer climate, and people will start thinking about camping, festivals. We can now supply all of your camping and outdoor needs. So we can supply tents, cooking equipment, chairs, camping tables, heaters, torches, anything like that we can now supply. So if you're thinking about camping this year, or you know anyone's going camping this year, send them my way, we can sort them out. Thank you. Blake from Amahag.
Thank you, Blake.
Very campy.
Aidan Squire from TM Law. Employment law is my subject today. There's been lots of regulations and things coming out this new year. And if you're an employer, there are all things that could affect you. It's not big things for big companies. Paternity leave. From the 8th of March, it allows fathers or partners to split the statutory leave into blocks rather than all in one. Minimum period is 4 weeks. bullying at work. There's a bill going through its first reading. Draft codes of practice on fair or transparent distribution of tips if you're running a hospitality setup. New guidance on holiday pay came in as of the 1st of January. New statutory rights for carers' leave. All of these things are day-to-day things that affect and are always changing. Go to a lawyer, don't leave it to chance. That's a team of law. And Paul is the last. Thank you.
Paul Booth from Building Code Chartered Certified Accountants based in Brentwood. One of the areas we cover is company secretarial for company clients. That includes confirmation statements, changes to directors, registered office address, etc. And one of the changes that's happening at Companies House this year is that from 4th of March, people can't use PO addresses for their registered office addresses. You've got to have a proper address, and we act for about 90% of our clients as registered office addresses. That way it keeps the individual's personal addresses outside of the public domain, because a lot of people do have their residential addresses as their home addresses, their registered office address. So today I'm looking for people who have a PO box as their registered office address, might want to use our services. That's Paul Booth from Booth & Co. Minimise tax, maximise wealth.
Paul, that is the end of the 60-second offerings from members. Toby.
A very good selection this morning, I thought. Congratulations on the Which Award, Ben. Not getting it. You only one award a week. I thought John's was really good actually with the way he turned that round with Terry, but then he took the referrals away from Terry again. But we all like to be amused. I thought Vince's was very good, but then he talked about hemorrhoids, so instead it's going to Matt on the metaphor of the different things.
Excellent, well done. Thank you very much. Well done, Matt. Thank you very much indeed, Toby, for trying to judge this week. Meeting Secretary's report. Tom.
Well. So I just wanted to go through what I've titled the V-Forms Fundamentals as a document I'm going to read out of best practice of how we should be recording everything and what it's kind of open discussion potentially very, very quickly, but just let me read out some of this blurb. So we want to record all referral opportunities, everything that is a genuine opportunity for business. Doesn't have to wait until it's a done deal. Make sure you record all of those referral opportunities. But in order to qualify as a referral, there must have been some kind of introduction or request. It's not just a, I saw this on the internet, chuck it in. It's got to be an initiated, contacted thing to qualify for being a proper referral. That's two quick ones. All activities should be recorded. So each time you complete a project or a task or a piece of work that's come from either one of us around the table or someone who is an ex-member or a client of a client who has been referred to you, all of those things should be recorded in the activity forms, please. So second generation, third generation referrals, they're all brilliant. If you had a system to record the referrals that were given to you as a response for something that happened 3, 2, 5, 10 years ago, they all count. They all originated from EBF. We want to record it all. So do make every effort you can to keep that working. Now I appreciate that for us longer members, some of us have been here 10 plus years, that means we have a bigger pool of easy referrals coming in. It's just the way it is. But let's just try and remember to capture second, third generation. The contentious bits. So many members provide a monthly or a quarterly or an annual or an ongoing service. The member who provides the service should be recording all of these regular amounts of money they receive. Now they might choose to put those in monthly or quarterly or annually. That's entirely up to them, but as long as they're recorded, wonderful. What we shouldn't be doing is recording a referral for Stuart's mobile service from me to Stuart every single month. I've initiated that ongoing contract with him. We've recorded that just about once in the system, that's enough. And perhaps on the annual review of that piece of business, we put it in as a continuing next year's worth of coverage and service. There's no need to record. I'm using you just purely as an example, Stu. My monthly contract to you every month. And if I have 6 mobile phones, I most certainly wouldn't consider putting in a referral for each of the mobile phones each month. Because that would be bonkers, right? That would be what I would classify as gaming the system. Kind of, it's just cheating a little bit, isn't it? But it's happening. People are doing, not that specifically, but that kind of thing. I would never reproduce my stationery events and put in a referral for business cards and a referral for letterheads and a referral for compliment slips. I would put in a referral for business stationery that has 3 items.
When do you want it to be ready?
So that's my really important part about making sure that we are capturing correctly. I want to capture it all, but I don't want to capture it multiple times over and over, just to keep it fair. So regarding the value of what we record on our activity reports. So there are, I would consider, exceptional circumstances as to when you wouldn't do this, but realistically we want to capture on the activity record the full amount of the invoice. So if I complete a project for Matt for £7,000, £7,000 is what goes on the form. If Matt purchases a holiday for Rosemary and he pays £12,000 for his holiday, Rosemary would have recorded £12,000 as the amount. Now, we know Rosemary isn't getting £12,000, she is receiving a commission for her service. But it's still £12,000 that Matt has spent with Rosemary. So we're recording those values. There are some cases where that becomes difficult. If I bought a new home and it was £1 million house, I wouldn't record £1 million. That would be bonkers. But I would record the full commission of that estate agent. If I'm making investments with Howard, again there is it's an exceptional circumstance. We need to figure out if you want to record what you're doing. Talk to Howard. Those people in financial services also have the issue around privacy, so they can't always specifically say that this case was worth £600 and this case was worth £300. So the financial services providers in the group, certainly Mike Rogers when he was a member, Mike came up with the idea of a notional amount. So every mortgage referral that he put through the system, he classified as a value of, I think, 395 quid, something like that. So he would just record every single one with a value. And some would be worth more, some would be worth less, but he was happy that he was recording those statistics and he was capturing more. Something like that is what we need to do. So if you're an insurance provider, or somewhere where the full amount isn't necessarily going to you and you receive a piece of it, we want, where it's not ridiculous, we want the full amount recorded. And if you've got any questions, talk to the membership team, leadership team person, and we'll see where we go. So the Performance League, it's not just this silly chart that I pass around each week. It's great to see the stats and everything else. It actually has a value, and it's how we as a leadership team look each year at members, and it's how the membership committee sent your profile on your renewal, and will look at the contributions our system says that you've made to the group. Now if on your 15 referrals you've passed during the year, 12 of those are your monthly contracts for Stuart's mobile phone, that's clearly a different picture than if you've actually passed 15 genuine external third-party referrals naturally during the course of the year. So that's all I just wanted to say today. There's been some discussion when, as a leadership team, we looked through the state of play of this month's referrals, and it was chaos. And it's kind of all about this B-Forms fundamentals document, which I'll share with you via email. There's hopefully nothing in there that's contentious or offensive. If anyone has any questions about how we should be recording this stuff, then give us a shout. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob. Very, very useful, and again, to belabor the point, I'll be dealing with the annual report in a couple of weeks' time. And we just need to be able to assess the value to the group, a genuine value, so we can all see what you're getting and make suggestions and conduct yourselves accordingly. So thanks, Scott, for that. As I say, any problems when he circulates it, give him or any of the leadership team a call. Right, we move on. The 10-minute presentation. Ben, cool.
Thank you much. Well, before I introduce today's speaker, just give you an update on the upcoming weeks for the speakers. So, moving into February. So, on the 1st of February, Mike will be doing the 10 minutes, and Stuart, we've got you down for the education stuff next week. Then the week after the 8th, obviously got the annual report. So, Aidan's busy putting that together, and the education provided by Toby. 15th is Brian. We've talked you down to that one, so 15th of February, and I'll be doing the education slot. And finally, the 22nd, James is doing your first 10 minutes for us. And Nick will have you down to the education slot for that day. So when it is your turn to do the 10 minutes, please go to the EBF website, download the bio sheet, and get it to me a day or two beforehand. And if you can't do either of your 10 minutes or your education slot, please let me know as soon as possible. We'll do our best to swap things around as well. But do try to remember that it's 8 minutes for a presentation and 2 minutes allowed for any questions that you may want. And Paul will get you on the list to get your 10 minutes as soon as possible.
Struggle with 60 seconds.
That said, today's speaker we have got Mr. Paul Booth from Booth & Co. Chartered Certified Accountants, based in Brentwood, Essex, but areas covered are UK and some non-resident landlords. And he's been involved in this company for 19 years. Previous types of jobs, none. Always been an accountant. Spouse is Vanessa with Natasha, his daughter. He's got 2 animals, Howard and Stuart. His hobbies include alcohol, gym, and watching football. Other interests, none. Hometown is Brentwood, but currently living in Billericay, where he's been for 20 years. So, without further ado, would you please welcome Mr. Paul Booth?
I thought I'd go through my accounting journey for many of you who haven't heard it before. So, I was at school at Henry Walker in Brentwood, no longer exists. It was a pretty tough school, pretty rough, one of the toughest in Essex, lots of chisels and knives flying through the air, and that was a quiet day. But I managed to get through that with a few O-levels, didn't quite know what to do after leaving school. I remember my dad saw something in the Brentwood Gazette about an accounting course in Chelmsford called AAT, Association of Accounting Technicians. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. So it was a full-time course. I did my 2 years at college, passed exams, and then went to work at a firm called Hill Waldridge in Brentwood, Crown Street, and I was there for a couple of years. I started my professional exam training then, ACCA, and then I went to work for a firm called Daily Hoggett & Company, also in Brentwood on Kings Road. I was there for about 6 or 7 years. I passed my professional exams, got promoted to tax manager, and then I left then and went to work for a firm in Ilford, quite a small firm. A little bit of skullduggery was done by the partners, etc. there, so it's quite interesting. We had quite a lot of tax inquiries, tax investigations, and at that time we used to have actual meetings with HMRC, so I went to all different tax offices, Woodford, Ilford, Romford, and a few funny cases happened. I remember one, a jeweller client we went in to see the tax inspector, property was being investigated, and the inspector came down from his room upstairs, and guy had a broad head, and I don't want to look at you there, but the client laughed and nudged me and said, "It's Luke Barrymore from Star Trek." And went upstairs. Lo and behold, on the inspector's desk, there was a Star Trek phone. So I was there, I think I left there when I was about 31-ish. I'd never worked for a big firm in the city, so I then went to work for a big firm called Moore Stevens at St Paul's. They were about number 9 or 10th size in the UK. In the consultancy department, and some big clients there. There was Claudia Schiffer, quite a few other well-known clients, but it was quite competitive in there. People were expected to work really long hours without getting paid, any overtime at all. Quite competitive. People would often work till 9 o'clock at night, not get promoted. So I then left there, went to work for a firm in Kelvin called BW Whitton & Co. And I was there for 4 years. Went back to accountancy type work and general tax, and then went to work for a firm in Southern Ferris called Carl Thornton. I was there for a few years, and then I heard about this thing, the dreaded thing called BNI. So I heard about that, and I thought, no, actually, I can see how I can get new clients. So I started up my own. I know, 19 years ago. We started at a Regis office in Brentwood, a very small two-person office. Just myself and my wife, and started off with my clientele. Each year we built up a client base, and then after a few years, it must have been about 3 or 4 years, went back to 55 Brown Street in Brentwood, where I shared an office with a friend of mine who's also an accountant. I was there for a few more years, and then about 10 years ago, I found an office called the Hermitage in Brentwood, which was up for sale, which I bought, and we've been there ever since. And we've now grown to 6 members of staff, and we carry out all the normal work, accounts prep, limited companies, sole traders, partnerships, limited liability partnerships, lots of tax returns, self-assessment tax returns, partnership tax returns, VAT returns, company secretarial, lots of payroll clients, and all the other lots of ad hoc services. Something we do is, from time to time, company valuations, and we do quite a lot of high-end company secretarial work. We do R&D claims, not the dodgy claims that some people do, but the proper claims and other quite high-end tax figures. Got lots of high-end net worth individual clients, particularly in the city, earning a lot of money, and clients of many different types of work. We don't specialise in any particular area. We can have clients pay us £150 a year to £10,000 a year. So big range of clients, and we use all the online bookkeeping software. At the moment, our preference is free agent, which is very good. But obviously, up for clients with QuickBooks, we're platinum partner with QuickBooks. We've got clients on Xero, Sage, and still some on spreadsheets. We've only got 1 or 2 manual clients, everything is really moved online. So years gone by, you would have people come in with carry bags of invoices, stick them on the desk and say, here we go. Don't do that anymore, which is a good thing. And yeah, so how are things going to change over the next few years? There's going to be a continued change on digital journeys. I think AI is going to be a big part of that. Software is not there yet, but I can imagine that eventually you're going to be able to say to an app, pay John Smith £1,000, and then that will be recorded in the software somewhere, or issue an invoice to so-and-so for this amount for these services. That will be, I think, in 2, 3, 4 years' time, that will be the norm, and that will make things a lot easier for people. That's probably going to be one of the biggest changes. Tax is always changing, always big changes each year, particularly if Labour come in. That's going to be an interesting thing. We're already being taxed more than we've ever been taxed before, so I don't think we'll be taxed anymore, but there'll be things that will be moved. Maybe the higher end, higher paid people will be paying more tax, lower people less, but we'll just wait and see. So I think we're coming out for the time, so any questions, please? Scott?
Back when I started my business, obviously you became my accountant, and you recommended cash flow products, which wasn't on your list of. How big of a pain in the arse is it to move that and use free agent or something else?
It's quite straightforward. So never do it during the year. Always try and do it from the first day of the new accounts period. But there are providers out there that do things free of charge. We've still got a few clients on cash flow, but where it's brought out, it's been seriously underfunded. It's got quite old. A lot of the new products have massively improved over what cash flow was. Cash flow originally was one of the first accountants in the UK that took on this online software called Cash Flow. It was the only one in existence. Now there's lots of better ones. But yeah, pretty easy. Tom?
You use free agent. Is there a piece of software like Dex that scans invoices in for you?
Yeah, we use Dex, yeah.
Does that go to free agent?
Free agent does it as well. You can use your app and all that to do the scanning of invoices. Yeah. Yes, I recommend that.
Paul, can you see a time when cheques have been completely redundant and not accepted by banks?
I think that will happen. It's becoming more and more common now. What's been happening is, of course, the challenger banks, the Starling, the Metal, Coconut, etc., they've been taking market share from the main banks. Main banks lost their market share and been cutting branches. So some of the banks now don't take cheques. Some you can actually, quite handy, you can scan it on your phone up to say £1,000. But yeah, I think it's going to happen, but probably not for 5 or 10 years. So.
Because it's not helped, is it, by the absence, complete absence of any bank being in your local high street?
Yeah.
If you have a cheque to pay in.
Yeah.
So it's writings on the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
For the first time this year, HMRC asked me to fill my tax form online. I was on the paper. Of course, leaving it to the last minute, I started Sunday afternoon. It took me 4.5 hours, I got it wrong. I finished up owing more tax than I'd earned. Any suggestions?
From a lot of people who try to do themselves use the HMRC free software, and it's very, very clunky to use. People do make mistakes. I've seen lots of horrendous mistakes similar to what you've done. I had people commit to return, not realise they made a mistake. When we've come to act for them, principally for the next tax return, I looked at their old return and they actually made a big cock up where they made a pension contribution. They included its pension income, so they overpaid by about £10,000 tax. They didn't know that. So yeah, got the money back for them. Yeah, got them a decent, got £10,000 refund. So yeah, so it is. Yeah, it's probably a good thing.
Happily, my granddaughter sorted that.
Very good.
Just to follow up to that, you said you find the online tax HMRC one quite clunky. Are there alternatives available, or is it just using accountants and these people who make software that make that process easier?
Yeah, accountants tend to have access to the best software because you buy licenses in unlimited or in bands, and for an individual person, it's not economic for someone to buy the software. And yeah, we've used different tax return, tax accounts preparation packages in the past. We've got the best one at the moment. But, yeah.
At the moment, they're saying that if you sell something from Vinted and stuff like that, you've got to pay tax on what you earn from Vinted. What's going forward, the way of stopping yourself being double taxed, or is that just what it is now?
There's something called a trader's allowance, where if you're self-employed or you receive occasional pieces of income, maybe pieces of rental income, up to £1,000, you can declare it on your tax return but not be taxed on it.
Right.
Okay, so you don't pay any expenses, but you can claim for that £1,000 relief. But HMRC do have access to all of the different, eBay, Airbnb, Vinted. If people start earning monies, then they will eventually get found out if they don't declare it.
Because one of the examples was, if you bought a wedding dress for like £2,000 and sold it for £1,000, you're over your threshold. So you're being taxed on buying the dress and also taxed on selling the dress.
I think things like that, if it's a one-off, it's not a trade. You're just selling. But if you're buying and selling a wedding dress every month, then that would be a repeated transaction.
Cost of sales goods against what you're selling it for.
Oh yeah.
But it's more the fact if you sold a wedding dress for, I don't know, £1,000, and then next week you went and sold a TV for £200, you'd theoretically over that £1,000 if you're selling your used stuff.
You are, but if they're one-off personal items, that's okay. It's more a case of the regular transactions you've got to be aware of and careful of.
Cool.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for that, Paul. Right, let's move on to the referrals and testimonials round, and as usual, we'll start with you. If you could do the running, and we'll move it round from Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Devlin, as always. And taking money from the next members, about £3,000.
Thank you for that, Paul. It's a referral for John going out to one of our customers tomorrow to replace a maglock, but it's already arranged, you really know about it. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. I never realised the concept really just so fascinating. Really showed it off to its
Made it sexy.
There's an Essex group on Facebook that asked for a recommendation to a structural engineer to visit in Hainault. So I just replied with Nick's contact details. It's not a referral, but that's the thing we should all be doing, looking out for people asking for speciality. So whether she contacts you or not, I don't know. I don't care.
I'll let you know anyway. Thanks for today. Just got one for people for Roy with quoting.
Thanks everyone. Thanks Paul. I've got a thank you to Aidan. Fixed these young man's boiler. Well, I didn't, my engineers did. And thank you to Scott for the work as well.
You didn't find a snake, eh?
Sorry?
Your colleague didn't find a snake.
Oh no, thankfully. Yeah. I didn't realise that was you. That's so funny.
Ben, your edits slot, as usual, very clear, succinct. Thank you for that. Paul, I do remember when I first met you, you worked and calm thought.
Yes, that's right.
From
Yeah,
our old days in V9.
Yeah.
I immediately chose you to be my accountant forever.
Thank you.
You are, and you saved me loads of money. So that's great. I've got a referral for James. We spoke about this. Is one of my clients requires some advice about a purchase and the neighbour's large tree property, my floors, and a referral to Scott, as always, for my ongoing business on our website. Thank you. See you next week.
Well done, Paul. That was really good. We've done professional work together actually. Paul hasn't mentioned it much, but he's done expert evaluation reports and even litigation matters. And he's very knowledgeable. You've heard his history. He's been around a long time, but it's really good to have someone we can work with him. Doing all right. Thank you very much for that. I've put in a referral for another ex-member who keeps on giving it. Other than that, over to you, John.
Yeah, so it's not interesting to find out people's background, which is great, so we look forward to mine. Because insurance really is even less interesting than the people that work in it. Rosemary should have left earlier, because I think since she's left, I've sent her inquiries for America, Canada, Thailand. Yeah, my one's coming up as well. But yeah, lovely. I'll see you all next week. I'll try and get some for some existing members rather than just former members.
Great meeting everyone. We use you obviously for our life. You've done us wonders. Rate us a lot, even though we don't see us twice. We'll see you all next week.
Another fantastic presentation. Really happy that you look after my business. Vince, if that kind of cold recommendation of Nick turns into business, then Nick will let you know. That does then become a referral. Don't forget to capture it at that point.
Same seeds, mate. Same seeds.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot to mention earlier, £24,000 worth of business recorded today. 9 new referral opportunities. That means summing it up, 64 grand worth of business this month, which is nice. Paul sent one of his engineers out to me to repair a dodgy radiator. I had to tell the poor chap that when he arrived, I said, "Are you brave?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Good, because my pet snake escaped 2 days ago." Somewhere in my house, there's a 1.2 metre python who's hungry and cold, and he's not in his vivarium, and so he'll be looking for somewhere warm to hide. Would you mind visiting every radiator in my house and rebalancing my system, please? And he got on with it, and he didn't find it, and it's still missing. So if you don't go one-to-one with me, I completely understand. There's a python on the loose in my house somewhere.
It's not Scott.
And if you see it, because it really does escape, let Scott know. Paul did sorted my mother's heating out and did it late mother's house. And he did it in double quick time for a couple of days, and it was done, which is excellent. We were exchanging contracts that helped it. So thank you very much indeed, Paul. That was good. So there's a referral also for Tina. I've let her know that already. And other than that, thank you for a good meeting today.
Bye, Shannon.
Bye. I was going to say bye. It's nice seeing you all. Okay. Have a good day.
Bye.
Yeah, brilliant 10 minutes. It's whole great to see sort of like your background as well, and how you help people and how good you are thorough, looking after people as well, so fantastic. Well done. Paul, it'd be great to get a one-to-one in with you to find out sort of a bit more about you and how I can look out for opportunities for you as well. Did a one-to-one with Tina quickly last week, only virtual just before she did her 10 minutes. And I'll put a couple of thank yous for ex-members. However, it's that time of year when I'm going to have to go through all of my sort of ex-members and things. I've written down a load here to put in, so they'll be in before the annual report, hopefully today. But yeah, great meeting, and see you all next week.
Yeah, great meeting. 8 to 10 minutes, Paul. Paul looks after our accounts now. We use 2 different accountants we've all in, and both of them left it to the last minute, had to build estimated figures at points. That's because they don't care, and Paul cares, and he does it right for us. So I can highly recommend Paul. I've got a thank you for the money for the gate repair at ROK, which wasn't through you, I know that's getting into the side of things. And Melissa, and a synergy that you're pleased to see. Oh, that's good, haven't you? Not yet. So, that's that. I've got a referral for Blake for DJ who wants some good places for his first kids. And I will see you all next week.
Thank you, Paul, for your presentation. Really appreciate it, and I had a synergy last week with business to consumer. And I'll see you next week.
Great 10 minutes today. Enjoyed that, and actually still at the stage of doing tax returns myself, but at some point I'll probably give up on that. Ben, I can't remember what your education slot was about, because I was writing my 60 seconds, so it's probably a bit different. I don't think we can do referrals to ex-members, can we? But I just wanted to say about Rosemary. Obviously, I just got back from holiday, and she was absolutely fantastic. Sorted out all our checking in, called me the day before without returns, and I've checked you in, I've done this, I've done that. I was sitting at the airport in Miami and got a message off her going, oh, just to let you know your flight's been delayed. And I'm like, no, it hasn't. And then it changed on the board. I was like, how closely are you watching this? But yeah, she was all over it and absolutely brilliant, so fully recommended. I've got a referral to Blake, you can order a shirt off you. And thank you for the money to Matt and Scott for some later stuff.
Great, Ed Scott. Ben, that's your name, yeah. And Paul, yeah, kind of echoing a bit what John said. Previous accountants, they use jargon, they, you know, kind of creative numbers and jargon and things like that. So Paul's made it all very simple, has saved us oodles of tax over the years, and has supported us in so many different ways, and you're a lifesaver. Thank you. I have a few referrals, one to Brian, which I'll talk to you about afterwards, and actually another one to Brian, which I'll talk to you about afterwards. Yeah, I can't, yeah. Anyway, and I've got a referral to Scott. I've got a meeting today with them, that's for the cathedral domain name. And thank you for the money to the gift that keeps on giving, the ex-member that is Paul Deleu. Thank you, lovely to see you all. See you next week.
Great 10 minutes, thank you very much, very interesting, and great expert, thank you. I am trying to get some more people along, some extra trades and stuff, I'm working on them, but it's great to see you next week.
Great meeting. Good excellent, Ben. Thank you. Yeah, it's really good to hear about your background and how you've arrived at where you are today. I'm also a big fan of Free Agent and National Bank. Got a possible R&D referral, but I won't do it yet, so I know it's going to happen. I've got BCC Synergy meeting last week. Also, I have a gift that keeps giving from an ex-member. That's Sarah Steele put me in touch with somebody else who's now probably one of my biggest advocates for motivational maps. I tend to get at least one a month from them, so I've got one of those to put through. What else have I got here? Paul's got a quick question for you about Brentwood afterwards. We've got a minute, and also Stuart's got a question for you. Got a one-to-one tomorrow with Paul. And Bitch, just an idea, when you do that, if you can put the link in the group, if we're a member of that group, we can also go in and say, Nick, give 2 or 3 people say it's better than just one. So, okay.
And the winner is?
Dave.
Right, Dave, would you like a book on 2024-25 tax tables? 66 pages for a bottom
Paul, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for doing the running and bringing the meeting effectively to a close. As usual, I'll throw the meeting open for anybody who has any announcements to make before we disperse.
On February 25th, we've got a pistol and shotgun game going at AP. If anyone's interested in coming, we have a free pistol you can use, or we've got a very cheap shotgun you can purchase for about 20 quid. That you can come and play with us if you want to. Just let you know, Mike, Matt.
I'm scared.
Go on, Matt. You do it. I'll come
I
back.
would say times, but times can't.
Where's AP? Is that
Oh, actually, I'm here.
Well, anyone else over that end
I'll
of the
let you
table?
go. No one shoots at me.
Can't promise that.
I promise if you go, I won't shoot at you.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I won't shoot at you.
Stick an email around?
Yep.
Excellent, good. Anybody else? Paul?
Yeah, Howard apologised for not being here this week. He's just got his last day of his massage course, so.
When it's qualified, you'll have to take that shirt off.
And you'll have to pay for it. Right. Anybody else? Before I send you on your way is a bit dull, but it's not cold. I hope you all have a good day. I hope you all have a good week, and I hope to see you all next week.